Welcome again to Christ Channel Network, CCN. If a man can marry a man and a woman can marry a woman in our world today, why can't a man marry many women at the same time? Why can't a woman marry many men at the same time if she has the money to take care of the men? If America as a nation have decided that we should validate the lifestyle and partner choices of almost every part of the community, why should we continue to exclude those in plural relationships? We are effectively choosing to criminalize loving families and open their children to the risk of stigma and scorn just because they choose to love more than one person. This is an appalling value judgment and does not fit with today's tolerant society in America. So, seeing through the American cultural lens, it is easy to think of polygamy as something that is distinctly unusual practice only by a few fundamentalist Mormons and by some Muslims in other parts of the world. So, polygamy and polyandry, nevertheless, should be seen as a purely secular, not religious affair. While modern mainstream Christianity rejects the notion of polygamy or polyandry, it has been sanctioned in the past, perhaps most famously by Luther King, who felt it was not against any of the teachings of the scriptures. So this built on a long-standing tradition of polygamy in early Judaism, where the Torah commanded a man to marry the widow of his brother, and specifically made provision that in the event of a second marriage, the position of the first wife should not suffer. Of course, with the exception of Mormon fundamentalists in our world today, the most well-known modern-day example of polygamy are found in the adherents of Islam. Prophet Muhammad was in a monogamous relationship with his first wife, but upon her death was known to have had up to 10 wives. Although not all the 10 women came in simultaneously. So modern day Islam permits a man to marry up to 4 wives, but only if he is able to support all of them. So a wife is permitted in the marriage negotiations to require her husband to refrain from taking a further wife during their marriage. It seems deeply unfair that in America, that American men and women are denied the rights to practice polygamy or polyandry. Why should we allow men to men, women to women in our law, and not allow a woman to marry many husbands if the woman can take care of many husbands at the same time, or a man to marry many wives in a country as diverse as America, and even in Nigeria, another part of the world, so that we don't go to hell? We are already in hell right now. So the time for an argument to be debating about the legality of polygamy or the religious issue of polyandry in America, the time to debate about it is now. So let the freedom reign. The practice of polygamy means that a man who wants more children does not have to divorce a woman who is approaching the menopause. Henry VIII of England would have been in a much better position had it been you can simply change the law to permit him to marry Anne Boleyn alongside Catherine of Aragon, and such a change would have prevented a lot of national tumult and personal heartache that the king created for the society of his time. So aging woman can retain the dignity of the married estate and remain with the husband and the family that they love. So adultery has been with us for as long as humans have had the institution of marriage. So the statistics are really quite depressing. In the US today, up to 50% of women and 60% of men will cheat on their spouse. Why do people do this? Some of the key reasons include falling in love with another person outside marriage. So they are not happy with the person they are married to, and they simply are not getting enough sex. So the legalization of polygamy and polyandry will go a long way towards eliminating a lot of this reason. In a polygamous society, falling in love with another person need not sound the death knee of an otherwise successful marriage. Instead, a marriage of two can be expanded to 3 and even further if necessary. All relationships go through ups and downs, and it can be tempting to think that the grass is greener on the other side, which is always a lie when you later find out. So a partner in a monogamous marriage may have an affair and subsequently call for a divorce from the original spouse, whereas knowing that they can take a break from the emotional intensity of one interpersonal relationship while remaining married ensures a reduced call for divorce in polygamous relationships. So a man or a woman who does not feel like sex for a period of time need not feel pressure to give in to sex just to keep a spouse. You don't have to, you don't need. So you perfectly go ahead and accept the options within the marriage. So one of the most enduring cultural example of polyandry is for two brothers or even a brother and a father to marry the same woman. So it continues to happen under the radar. So polyandry is known to have happened, I can tell you, and still does in parts of India today, in Polynesia, in Brazil. It's happening in parts of Nigeria and in many other locations. It is thought that polyandry is particularly beneficial in society where it prevents overpopulation through restricting the number of births while ensuring that people have access to social gratification. Great women, they just use their husband as cover up, but they have other husband secret somewhere. So the culture doesn't allow them to say, I have husband somewhere. So polyandry with the brothers also prevents land from being divided, as all the family land will remain and be inherited as a single unit. So given the cost of raising a child in the US and in Nigeria today, there are many practical benefits to the concept of multiple parent relationships. So given the new laws pertaining to the legalization of gay marriage, there does not even seem to be an argument to limit polygamous marriages to those which are polynous and polyandrous. Why did gay men and women fight for the right to have their unions recognized by the state? In the main, of course, this was to do with equality, that their unions should be seen as every bit as important to them as the unions between heterosexual men and women. But this is not the only reason. Marriage provides the partners with certain automatic legal protections that include inheritance and pension rights, hospital visitation rights, custody rights, access to family insurance, and many more. So in total, marriage in the US gives over 1,000 legal protections to the spouse. It is possible to recreate many, but not all, of these protections through legal contracts. But it is very expensive and incredibly complicated. It is unfair that those who wish to contract polygamous marriages have to pay out thousands of dollars in attorney fees to ensure that their second and subsequent spouses enjoy some of the legal protections as their first spouse. It relegates subsequent spouses to the status of nothing more than concubines. So legalizing polygamous and polyandry marriage will extend these protections automatically to all spouses within a marriage, regardless of their position in the family. Failing to do so sends a clear message that subsequent spouses should be penalized as a result of their lifestyle choice. So these value judgments hold no place